What's up guys, Jeffy the Boomer here, and in this Minecraft video I will be giving you 45 different 1.19 build ideas. So let's hop right into it. Starting off with the first couple of things are these lamps. The frog lights, the new frog lights from 1.19 that you get when a frog eats a magma cube, these are awesome for lights. The texture on them works so incredibly well, and no matter which direction they are, sideways or up and down, they look amazing. Next things, chandeliers. If you're ever building a fancy or gothic build, you're gonna want a chandelier, right? And these new frog lights, like, I can't stress enough, they look really good for chandeliers. I especially love this one. I would definitely use this in a steampunk build or when I'm building like a gothic church or something like that. This one I could definitely see being like an underground kingdom or like, you know, some sewer or something, I don't know. If you're trying to bring the end to the overworld, this would be a really, really cool design for a chandelier for like a grand end city hall or something. And then I also learned that Sculk pairs very well with Deep Slate. If I was building like a gothic build, I would definitely use this. Next over here we have some tables. Most of this stuff is just little furniture ideas, just to get your brains flowing. Just, you can do whatever you want, but here are just some ideas. So this kind of looks like a table, which I really like, and then, you know, you've got the cup and the plate. This one you could even surround it, and then it's a cool glowing table, which I really like. This one, it's a little bit far-fetched. I tried my best, you know, if you think it looks cool, then sure, but if you don't, then whatever. Now, if you're trying to build some magical potion thing, where barrels have like this potion stuff in them or something like that, try this. I really like this, and it kind of reminds me of that, those potion cauldron things from Shrek. I don't know which one, but Shrek. Over here, frog lights mixed with the colors corresponding wood or a wood color that matches looks really cool. It's like a light up table, and then you add trapdoors along the outside. I think it looks really cool. Next on, we have beds and chairs, so again, furniture stuff. This works really well. I can see this in a kid's room. They have like these nighttime sky covers or whatever, and then they have like the little edges of their bed or whatever. So there's that. Or you could do this, where you have the Sculk Catalyst, I think it's called, as the bed frame. Or you could just do all Sculk, like full Sculk blocks, so it looks like it's a sheet cover. This is really cool, because I actually didn't think that this would work, but these have a rough kind of texture that if you like, you know, squint your eyes, you kind of like, it looks kind of like a bed sheet almost kind of thing, and then bordered with spruce trap doors. Next over here we have a sectional couch, and again, these Sculk Catalyst blocks work really well for tables, chairs, beds, anything kind of like with a frame, I guess you could say. The trapdoors could use a better like color coding. I probably could use like different ones, but it's good. Or again, just like the bed, you could use the full Sculk blocks, which also look very comfy, partnered with the Sculk vines. Alright, next is floor patterns. Floor patterns and wall patterns are one of the most important things, because you can't really have a room without a floor and walls. There was no roof patterns, because you could just mirror the floor patterns onto the roof. So yeah, so here's pattern 1. It's kind of like a checkered, you could do this like for a ceiling, I guess, like Starry Night kind of vibes. I kind of like that. Next over here, you could do this if you have like a really big project and you have a giant floor. You could do this, and I think it would look cool if you took like, you know, if you did frog lights on a 4-corner, like you did a 2x2 frog lights on the corner, and then you made like a cool design out of it. That could look cool. Amethyst, pearlescent frog lights, and the end chiseled end bricks or end stone or whatever it's called. End bricks, I think. No, purple blocks, that's what it is. work really well together. They all have kind of the purple scale, so you can get away with a lot of things now. Your end builds are gonna look a lot better now, so that's good. And last but not least, you could definitely get away with doing a grassy, like lit up floor vibe with the Verdant frog lights. It looks really well, and they do stick out, but like it's not bad. I think it looks pretty well. All right, well, it looks pretty good, so it works pretty well. Next is walls. So here we have like the wall of like maybe a child's room. They have like the Starry Night along the walls, and even like they shimmer and they turn on. So it's like, it is kind of like, you know, magical. This one I definitely could see in like a Gothic build where you have the bottom is like a stone, and then higher up it gets more mystical, magical kind of with the skulk. This would work really well with an old sandstone kind of vibe one, if you were doing like a dark desert temple kind of something like that. So that'd be cool. This one over here I could see just being like the background of like a lobby elevator or something like that. You could mess around with that all you want. Again, the purple blocks and the pearlescent frog lights work really well together, so that's good. And over here, definitely you could get away with some deep slate amethyst frog light tricks. It looks really, really good altogether. I do really like this one. Next, we have kind of like an underground like city that was like washed out, and then you have like the moss, I'm kind of imagining. Like, it's the mossy underground, and then the, you know, it's a little bit stony with the frog light, so that could be cool. And last but not least for our walls is the more steampunk one, where you kind of have the green. You could also pair this with orange and do like the lighter coppers, the orangey ones. This one I think works really well because you could do like, I could imagine like an ocean vibe or a steampunk vibe or any sort of thing like that. Okie dokie, and now we pair up all of the walls and the ceilings and all that stuff all together. So here is room number 1. Now I have 4 rooms because there's 4 new blocks that I think that you would most commonly use for building. The skulk, and then the frog lights for a different build. This one is, as I said, looks like a kid's room. You have to imagine a little bit like a little kid, and they have their Starry Night walls, and they have their Starry Night bed and lampshade, and then books. And then this as a table, use frog lights, like fully, like 2x2 frog lights as a table. It looks really cool, like a glowing kind of table vibe, and I really like it. I think it looks really cool, and I would definitely be using that. So yeah, as you can see, it's pretty simple. I used one of the wall designs where you have the mushroom block and then the skulk. So yeah, overall, pretty simple, but it could look really good if you're doing like a home or something like that. Like, imagine you're standing right here, and you're just looking at a room. You see like bookshelves, little kid in here and all that. Alright, and the next build. Here's your more, like, royal palace. I don't know, I'm not good at building, like, palace type things, because with the 10x10, I don't have that much room. But here we go. We have the nice chandelier that I was talking about in the middle, a nice giant window, the epic, pig face painting, so that's cool. And then we have our table of noble knights with the, I forget what these frog lights are called, but with the frog light chairs, which look really cool. And altogether, if you had this going stretching down like a hallway or something, like a giant long room with a giant long table, I could see this being a really, really cool room that I would build myself. Now, the next one, it's kind of, I had to immerse myself in this to make it work, but if we come down here, we have the dark prismarine verdant frog light, like rocky feel, and I'm so gonna be using this in a build. This is so amazing. It's such a nice color palette, and even with this, it pairs very well. And I could definitely see it like down below, you know, you see just bits of it. I could definitely see it being really, really useful. Now, I'm gonna be honest, overall, I had a struggle using the pearlescent frog light. I mostly just related it to end stuff, so you could do something like this. This is a bit random, but I kind of took inspiration from the pillars in the Ender Dragon fight, and then kind of mixed some shulkers and endstone and stuff like that all together. So, you could create something like this, which would be kind of cool, you know, custom pillars or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that was the last room. So there you go. Here are some ideas. If you wanna, you can take and pause the video here as I'm hovering over all these. If you wanna ever, you know, build one of these or copy these down, then here you go. 45 different ways to use the new 1.19 blocks. Okay, and last but not least, I couldn't leave you guys without like a color palette or something. So here's the lines of color palettes that I found work with each of the new blocks. This could be preference based, I guess, but you know, it is what it is. You can test it out. If you don't like it, you can always tear it down. For me, I personally like the orange frog light the most. For me, I tested each one of these blocks in different varying builds. The orange one definitely fit all of these things. It looks really cool being like just a light or like a lamp or even like the highlight color or something. It looks really, really good. Alright, well, thank you all for joining me on, you know, this little build session of 1.19 ideas. This is just to get your guys' brains started. Obviously, you guys will probably build way better stuff than this because the biggest plot that I had to build in was a 10 by 10. So hopefully this inspired you guys in some way. You could use like furniture or something like that, but I just hope it helped out. If it did, you know, like the video. If you want to see more of this, subscribe, and then also leave something down in the comments like, hey, it was good, or, you know, if you want me to make another one, just drop a comment. But yeah, so there you go, 45 different 1.19 build ideas.